a deliberate bowler. Randy, we watched him last night at Fountain Valley here in Southern California. And between the strike ball and the spare ball, it takes a long time. We asked him last night, hey, there's a shot clock, you know. It's going to cost you some money if you keep taking so much time. We'll see how he adjusts on TV. First ever TV ball on a 7-pin for Osku Palermaa with a two-handed delivery.
Yeah, don't adjust your TV sets. This is for real. Two hands, his fingers only in the ball, and check this out. I have never seen this before. And let me tell you something. This guy is really, really impressive, especially for a 20-year-old.
Watch how fast he throws the spare ball. Last night, it's a one-handed delivery, folks, by the way, with a spare ball. He just cranks it. Our cameras can barely follow how fast that ball is going down the lane at over 30 miles an hour.
You thought Robert Smith was fast. This kid can really bring it. Gets that backswing up over his head and just lets it fly.
How taken was Osku by his experience here? He was asking Brian Voss, Walter A. Williams Jr., Pete Weber for their autographs at the beginning of the week, and now he's competing against Walter Ray. U.S. Open, the biggest event of our season to this point, and a good start for Walter Ray Williams Jr. bidding for his second major of the season, leading us to the Baby Ruth Real Deal matchup, Randy.
And a pretty tight comparison here with the exception of average, but look at this. Something that you don't see very often, especially from Walter Ray Williams Jr. Really low spare conversion percentage rate for him. But because of the lane conditions being so tough, that's why the percentage was so low. This guy here doesn't lose very often on television, 7-0.
Absolutely red hot coming into this 61st U.S. Open presented by Jackson Hewitt Tax Service. And keep in mind, Walter Ray's season has been up and down, and mostly down in the first half. Carry is right, Walter Ray, and a double start for Walter Ray Williams Jr., who told us last night 32nd place after the first half of the year. He was baffled by his play.
He sure was, but you know what? Ever since he won the first tournament of the second half of the season, it jump-started, ignited Walter Ray Williams Jr. We're used to seeing this from him. We saw it all of last year. They did bowl against each other yesterday in match play. Remember, 24 games. You bowled everybody once. The 24th game being position round.
First TV strike to the career of Osku Palermaa from Espoo, Finland.
When you want to throw revs and a big hook, don't put your thumb in it, because it's impossible to throw it straight.
How many people, Randy, right now nationwide are thinking about trying this style?
Everybody watching
the show. He could do it.
Everybody watching the show tomorrow will go and practice trying to throw it with two hands, including myself.
It could cause a new national craze, not only in this country, but in Finland as well. The thumb will not go in. Keeps it out. Looks for his first ever TV double. Came in a little bit high, but gets a break late. 9-pin goes.
Using two different bowling balls, trips the 4-9 and makes up for the solid 9 that he left in the first frame. One thing about not using your thumb when you're bowling on a tough lane condition is we all have a tendency to grab it with the thumb hole. Pinch that thumb hole at the bottom of the swing. Well, when your thumb's not in it, you can't pinch it.
Walter Ray Williams Jr. will have none of this, losing to a rookie. Turkey to start for Walter Ray and a 10-pin lead. In his wins, big numbers. Not so much the losses like he had against Palermaa in the match play stat we showed.
But you know, the thing about it was that when he didn't win, he didn't shoot 140 and 150. That's what kept him in the tournament.
Up 10, looking for a 20-pin lead and a four-bagger to start. Walter Ray Williams Jr. has it right in the pocket. 60 feet to success for the Hall of Famer.
As tough as the lane conditions are, when you get 5 guys on a pair of lanes for a half an hour, you can wear out a spot on the lane to help get your ball to roll up into the pocket more consistently. Walter Ray playing outside second arrow. Osku is playing inside.
Osku, as you mentioned with Holly, started bowling at 2 years old, and because at 2 it's hard to throw a bowling ball that far. That came in way high through the nose. And the 3-6 up for Palermaa. Never adjusted from the style, although he is working on a one-handed delivery.
Well, if you notice, he went to another ball in the right lane after throwing a strike in the second frame with a different ball. I don't know if it was a mental error. First time on TV can do strange things to you, or if he just decided he didn't like the way that one ball reacted.
He is moving at a much faster clip, folks, than last night where he took so much time between the strike ball and the spare ball. And with that laser beam, plastic ball goes right at the 3-6 and takes care of his spare. The PBA Tour season heading down the home stretch. PBA.com, your best source to find out all the latest PBA news. Special sections detail who's on the bubble, the top 8, getting you that round of Super 16. The exempt field as well for next season. Story, stats, player features, and more, all a mouse click away. www.pba.com. Osku down 22 pins. Incredibly enough, did not play hockey growing up in Finland. Had to be one of the few kids who didn't in Espoo, Finland. That comes in on the light side. Really likes soccer, though. That was the other sport in addition to bowling, playing on the defensive end of the soccer pitch.
Check out his eyes, staying on the target. Looks like he gets really quick on this shot. He knows it as soon as it leaves his hand. We showed you in the oil pattern, if you get it too far to the right, it's not getting back.
And getting back to that adjustment between balls, tough for a guy like this to get out of his normal rhythm, which may be 30, 40 seconds between shots. Now he's rushing.
I think the whole atmosphere is tough for him. For anybody for their first time on television, especially trying to beat the likes of a Walter A. Williams Jr. and win a U.S. Open title. Tall task for anyone.
Tall task right now, considering especially that Walter Ray has the front four. Going for the first 5 of 5 bagger, 25-pin lead now. Strike here and he's down. 35 is Palermaa, but that's a little bit high. And never easy to deal with a 310.
Ball gets inside of target and not by a whole lot. And this week it didn't have to. Walter Ray needs to cover both balls, or excuse me, both pins with the ball. He's going to get the ball just to the right of the 3-pin. It'll deflect off into the 10.
Walter Ray, 6th in points, but he is exempt already with his 2 tour titles. One in Seattle and another major in Reno 2 weeks ago. Takes care of the spare nicely.
And that's why he was able to stay out of trouble this week, by making small splits like that all week long, trying to become the first player to defend his title since Davey Husted did it back in 95 and 6. And all he has to do is get by this first match and then beat Chris Barnes and Brian Voss and then Pete Weber.
Quite a list. Superstars all. 3 of them already in the Hall of Fame in our field. He'll break off again. That could be a fan or some movement to his right, perhaps, in our arena setting here at the Anaheim Convention Center. Big crowd on hand. 3rd major of the season, as Walter Ray bids for his 3rd U.S. Open title in his great career. That's the way to get there. Big shots like that. Been a very interesting 2003, 2004 for Walter Ray Williams Jr. We'll talk about that. Also conclude this exciting match. Will the rookie advance or the Hall of Famer to the next step? Our step ladder format. He is the #1 seed, so he's just got to win 1 match to take another major championship. It would be his 7th of his great career. He's clinched $50,000 in the run-up prize already. He'd like a lot more, as would Osku